Now that Bernie Sanders have ended his presidential campaign, let's look ahead to the general election. Now, I don't mean to just breeze over the announcement that Bernie have ended his campaign and he's going to go down as a historic figure even though he didn't win. But in my mind, this race has been over ever since the Michigan primary. I felt that Bernie had to win Michigan and that didn't happen. So it is what it is right now. I prepared for Biden to be the nominee for about a month, and in that month span, so much has changed. I mean, that month feel like about 5 years. I mean, we in quarantine, we have a lockdown, stimulus checks, so the whole landscape of the presidential race and our lives have changed. So going forward, what do we do? I think this COVID 19 pandemic has been an unfortunate reminder that things always change because sometimes we can become stagnant. We think that because things is one way right now, that they always going to be the same forever. And that's just not how things work. Like, just think of your personal lives. There's always unexpected crisis and emergencies that come to us every day. Things that we haven't planned for that we have to deal with, and that's no different in politics. That's no different in government. So we have to think about policy differently now. So what Biden going to do to reach out to Bernie Sanders supporters? He seems to be trying to reach out a little bit. He already adapted the tuition free college proposal, which I applaud. That's a good move. That's a step in the right direction. And he came out with two other policies. He came out with student loan forgiveness, and it's a lot of caveats to that. I'm going to do a separate video on that. But this particular video, I want to talk about his healthcare proposal. Now, Biden have proposed to lower the Medicare age from 65 to 60. And this is on top of his healthcare plan already. Now, for me, his healthcare plan don't go anywhere near far enough, in my opinion. And I think the media and pundits in general have done a bad job of breaking down Biden and other moderates' healthcare plans. Because all the focus been on Medicare for all and why we shouldn't have Medicare for all. And we haven't really dived into the details of other plans. So, what exactly is Biden plan? Well, one aspect of his plan is to have a public option. What is a public option? So, a public option in his plan is going to be kind of like a Medicare system that you can buy into. So, but here's the thing about his proposal and his public option. We don't know how much it's going to be. You know, I read every word on his website. Now, on his website states with the public option, it's not going to be copays. So that's a plus. But how much it's going to cost to buy into the public option, we don't know because it's not specified in his plan. Um, and that's a major detail that I think reporters need to press Biden in his campaign about because you say that healthcare is going to be affordable. What's your definition of affordable? Now we know what his definition of affordable is in the individual marketplace because on his website, on under his healthcare plan, and I'm going to link his healthcare plan in the description so you can take a look for it yourself because I always want y'all to do your own research. In in his healthcare plan on his website, it states that no individual will pay more than 8.5% of their income in healthcare. And the example he used is a family of four making $110,000 a year. Now, let's break that down because I hate when government do this, and it's not just Biden. A lot of people do this. They do this with $15 an hour minimum wage. Now, cost of living is different in different parts of the country. So, $110,000 in New York City, let's just say, is not going to be the same as $110,000 in the Panhandle of Florida. The cost of living is different. Or 110,000 in New York City is not the same as $110,000, let's just say somewhere in upstate New York. California cost of living is higher than the cost of living in Nebraska. So I hate when they just put these numbers without factor in COLA. You know, um, COLA is cost of living adjustment. You know, um, that's what they do in the military because if you're in the military, those of you who have served, y'all know this. When you get something called BAH and BAS, which is a housing and food allowance when you live off base, the amount you get is dependent where you at and the cost of living in that area. It needs to happen in these programs as well. So that's a little pet peeve of mine. But back to his plan. So the example he used, so basically two adults that have a combined income of $110,000 with two kids, family of four, right? They wouldn't pay no more than 8.5% of their income in healthcare. Now, they say that without saying how much that is per month, because once you state how much that is per month, you like, that's kind of a lot. So that ends up being basically $780 a month. Now, I don't know how affordable that is because, like I said, it's not one individual making 110,000. It's a couple with two kids making $110,000. And like I said, depending where you at in the country, that's not as much money as some people would think. Add that on to all the bills like car notes, taxes, and especially you live somewhere in New York or California where taxes is a lot higher. It's you know adding another $780 a month. That I mean that's tough. That's tough. Of course, you end up having to do what you have to do, and this plan is better than the current system. But to me, that's still not very affordable. And let's just lower the numbers. So let's just say I don't know, it's two people, a married couple making I don't know 70,000. That's still basically about $500 a month, maybe a little bit less, right? In healthcare. Again, is that the worst? Do people pay more than that now? Yes. But to me, that's not as affordable as it made out to be, especially because in the marketplace, there's still co-pays. In the marketplace, it's still going to be deductibles as well. It'd be one thing if you was eliminating co-pays and deductibles in the marketplace because at least in the public option part of his plan, the co-pays is being eliminated. But it seemed like in the public option it might still be deductibles. So we have to go from there. Um, these is the type of details that needed to be discussed during the primary, which the media felt his job. It just did. It just did. They always asked how much money Medicare for All was going to cost in taxes, but failed to ask, okay, under these current plans, like the public option or just our current system, how much are we paying in premiums, co-pays, and deductibles? So that's something that's not discussed. Also, in Biden plan, it states that is we going like the American citizens will get a greater tax credit, right? Um, I think up to about 400% of the poverty line. And right now, the poverty line for a single individual is I think right below 13,000. Yeah, so about 400% of that. So people will get more tax credits to help them pay premiums and help them pay for healthcare. And from my understanding of the plan, just reading it online, what those tax credits would basically help get down to 8.5% of one's income. So I know this is like, a lot of details, but I think we have to break it down like that, because when you just say stuff like public option, when you just say stuff like Medicare for all without getting into the details of what that means, I think it does everybody a disservice. So, on top of this plan he already had, like I mentioned in the beginning, he proposing now to lower the Medicare age to 60. To me, this is underwhelming to say the least, and I just don't understand it. It makes zero sense to me because there's already support, even amongst moderates in the Democratic Party, to lower the Medicare age from 65 to 55. He didn't even go to 55, he went to 60. And I don't know how this proposal will even help him, because one of his problems is reaching out to younger voters. Now, you say to a younger voter, okay, no, I'm not for Medicare for all. I'm not for a true universal healthcare system, but I am for lowering the Medicare age to 60. Like, like what's that going to do for somebody that's 27? I don't think that gained you the support that you need. And like I said, that doesn't even go as far as other moderate plans. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me at all. And I'm not one. I know some people's Medicare for all or nothing. I can go with another healthcare plan, and if it give us true universal healthcare, I just need to look at the details. But this plan is lacking to me. It needs to be, some details need to be ironed out. Like the premiums of the public option, what would that be like? Is the premiums of the public option going to be 8.5% of your income as well? I mean, I don't know. It didn't really specify in his plan. I'm not sure. So I need more answers on that. Um, is Biden plan better than the current system? Yes. Is Biden plan better than anything Trump would propose? Yes. I mean, Trump already done tried to get rid of um, pre-existing conditions. Because under the Affordable Care Act, insurance companies couldn't discriminate against you if you had a pre-existing condition. Trump tried to get rid of that. Trump literally have no health care plan. Trump health care plan is just to repeal the Affordable Care Act, aka Obamacare. Other than that, he have no plan at all. So Biden plan is better than that, um, but it's not where we need to go. And I think he's going to have to do a lot more to reach out to younger voters. Um, Also, his plan needs to address discrimination in the healthcare field in general. Poor clientels that have Medicaid, because I worked in Medicaid before, a lot of them get discriminated against in certain hospitals. I mean, that's something that needs to be addressed. There's racial disparities in the healthcare industries. Like, there have been studies about how race played a part of what type of what type of care you get at the VA. These are issues that need to be addressed too by everybody, not just by Congress as well. So we have to start bringing up real issues and not just these generic issues that CNN and MSNBC and the rest of cable news cover. You know, um, and this is what this channel is for. Thank you for tuning in. And my next video, I'm going to cover buy-in student loan forgiveness proposal. Elizabeth Warren had one. Bernie Sanders had one, And what is Biden's? He adjusted his proposal a little bit. So we're gonna take a look at that. Would that be enough to reach out to young voters? Would that gain them any more voters? And more importantly, would it really help the people it designed to help? Stay tuned. We're gonna find out. Peace.